All right, guys, Jason with Wolf Overland, and we got the fuel pump recall done. All good with that. Well, that's what it seemed like at first. And I brought the Jeep back from the dealership, pulled it in the shop, looked it over, no leaks, and decided to drive 13 hours to the Ozarks to meet up with Matt from Ozark Overland and do his Patreon meetup. And no issues all the way out there, no issues while we were out there wheeling the crap out of this thing. And then on the way back, about 6 hours in, I started to smell diesel fuel in the cab. And I didn't think anything of it, and I didn't notice any leaks at all. Got back to the dealership, do what we always do, put the Jeep up in the air, check it over, and we found some leaks. Well, maybe I spoke too soon, but I noticed fluid here, and if you look all the way up, right there, that's the leak. That's the high pressure fuel pump that was just replaced Thursday. It's dripping, of course. Leaks all the way down the damn car. All this is diesel fuel. What a mess. So once we found out that the high pressure fuel pump that they replaced during the recall was leaking somewhere in there, took it back to the Jeep dealership. Dropped it off to the Jeep dealership. They had it for the day. They said that one of the lines had some dirt in it, and they were able to clean them out and retorque both lines. And I asked the service director if he can replace the drive belt on it too, because drive belt had diesel fuel all over it, and as you know, rubber is diesel fuel will swell out rubber really good. Long story short, they didn't have the belt in stock, left the Jeep overnight. They installed the belt today, and hopefully we're all good. Drove it back to the dealership, and this is what I found. So on the EcoDiesel, when you replace the drive belt, I have a spare drive belt, and I did look up the instructions. You have to remove the alternator and pull it up out of the way so you could access that lower cover, take that little lower plastic cover off, and then there's a tensioner right there. Take the tension off, put a pin in there, replace the belt. Now, what I found was, just double checking the work, since I was, the fuel pump, I had that issue, double checking the work. This part was loose right here. This is the main positive terminal from the alternator. It was loose, it was not tight. That can cause a slew of issues, including PCM failure. And then just kind of looking over, check the bolt tightness on there, checking hoses. This evap line right here was off. It was just barely, it wasn't even clipped in. The security clips on here were undone. It was just kind of hanging there, like no one pushed it back up and engaged the lock pins on it. This would have caused the evap leak, right? So just stuff like that is just shoddy workmanship. Shoddy workmanship on installing the fuel lines, and shoddy workmanship on replacing the drive belt and leaving, a line loose, a main bolt loose for the positive alternator feed. And I double checked everything. Everything else looked good. No, didn't find any other issues so far. But that seems to be the problem nowadays. Is it's hard to get good help. It's hard to find good technicians nowadays. And the good technicians are the ones who are leaving the field because they're the only ones who can fix stuff. They're the only ones who can repair cars properly, so they technically don't get any of the good paying work anymore. They just get the problem cars that no one else can fix. So this is why I do all the work on my car. Now, I do have a trusted friend who I've seen his workmanship, and I'm gonna have him do the Regear because that's what he does for a living. So definitely post a review on that. We're going to 4, 5, 6 gears on the EcoDiesel Gladiator, and I believe that's a strong modification we need to do, and we're at that point. So we did get Dana Splicer gears with the master rebuild kit, which includes, you know, the shims, the oil seals, the bearings that you need when you press all that stuff out. And we're gonna do 4, 5, 6 gears, which is what AEV recommends with their EcoDiesels on 37s. They recommend the 4, 5, 6 Dana Splicer gears. Technically, from the research I found with the EcoDiesel, 430 gears is mathematically what it should be, but then again, you're going to add a lot of weight, you know, 7,800 pounds, right? You're going to add all the weight, the roof rack, all, you know, that's going to cause a lot of drag when you're driving on the interstate, which, you know, gears is going to help with that. And plus, you kind of want that low end, you know, crawling oomph when you know, because we do technical trails. So I think 4, 5, 6 gears is where it's at for the EcoDiesel. AV, that's what they would do too. So we're gonna go with that. Anyway, long story short, work on your own car. It's hard to trust the shop. Find a good shop, and if you find a good shop, make sure that technician is working on your car, and make sure that he's getting your car when you drop it off for service. Other than that, please like and subscribe, and we will see you on the next one.